Let's see.
I am so excited to be back with another artist series. We have a fantastic jazz vocalist, a musician. He just won the Sarah Vaughan competition. We're excited to welcome Tyreek McDole. Hi, Tyreek.
Hello, thank you for having me. Of
Thank you for being here.
course.
So, I just mentioned the Sarah Vaughan competition. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Tell me, what was that whole experience and process like?
sure. So auditioning, this probably would have been my second or third time applying for the competition. But yeah, essentially, we just send recordings of our best works, various styles, and then at least one of those tunes has to pay homage to Miss Sarah Vaughan. So for my submission, I sent recordings of myself singing "Every Day I Have the Blues," "Lush Life," as well as "September in the Rain," all of which I sang at the competition. And then we had about, I think, a month or so to prepare um, just our charts, our voices, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things. And then we got into NJ Pack or New Jersey Performing Arts Center. We met with pianist Sergio Salvatore to check out our scores to just see if that works out. Um, and we also, sorry, I just gotta get a charger over here.
Take
We
your
also got to do a full band rehearsal. So we had about 2 days uh, prior to the competition to prepare for that. And then the day of, we just did a sound check, and then we did the show. It was
well,
a
but
lot of fun.
I'm glad. I'm glad. But tell me about winning. Tell me about. I saw the video. How did you feel? Were you surprised? How did that? What were the emotions like in that moment when they're like, okay, the runner up, and then how did you feel in that moment?
Sure. I would say that there was a lot of not animosity. That's a horrible word. There was a lot of there was a lot of what is the word?
Tension? There was tension.
Tension. I like that. That's a great word. There was a lot of tension building up to that moment because, like I said before, I'd been denied from this same program several years before, uh, or for at least twice now. And one, just getting in was a huge, uh, shocker moment for me. And then I had the idea that I might actually place in this thing. I thought that would have been awesome. I was like, third place, let's go. Second place, let's go. I was like, wait.
Oh.
And then first place came, and I was ecstatic. I was very very happy, and I was proud of myself for coming as far as I did.
Congratulations. It's well deserved. Well deserved. I
Thank
saw the video. You had a nice little head nod you did there. So, but take me back. So, how did you get started in music?
Sure, it started in music. That's a great question. So I guess it started when I saw the film The Princess and the Frog that came out when I was in 4th grade.
Well,
And since then, I just been enamored by music and by instruments and the power of music. I saw that how it affected the characters in the movie, and just how music was kind of a motif for giving life into a space. Whether you're a villain or the protagonist, we all believe what we believe, and we're all charged with the things that we're charged with. So I think music is just the score to our life. Um, yeah, and that made me want to join the band. I decided to pick up the trumpet after Lewis the Alligator, and then soon Louis Armstrong, and then Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie. And yeah, so as soon as I joined the band, it was kind of all that's kind of it. I just knew I wanted to do music for my life.
what a beautiful response to that answer. Most people say, "Oh, I saw the reaction of the people when I performed, or this person looked cool playing the instrument," but you talked about the way that music affects others, and I love that response.
Thank you.
Wow. So tell me, so you mentioned being in band and Louis the Alligator, then Louis Armstrong. So tell me, what was it that drew you to jazz?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it'd still be on that same theme of well, when the movie was definitely a huge inspiration, getting me curious about playing music. And then we talk about jazz and just the idea of that. And I thought it was such a cool thing. Like, the idea of spontaneously making music, that has to be a superpower. I doubt many people could do that, and I guess I'm kinda right about that. And through, through this, lens of the music that we like to call jazz, um, I think it just inspired me, um, to not only discover, who are these people, but what was their impact, while they were living. Um, a lot of our, heroes were also, great political, activists, social, activists, um, and just arts advocacy is all over this music and all over these folks. And I was also inspired by it, just how most of them look like me. Most of them are black folks. This Black American music. I thought it was really beautiful to be able to see myself and people who are lauded as geniuses and innovators. So I just had to keep digging.
Wow, that's yeah, that's so important. These musicians look like us, and these aren't the people you necessarily learn about in school. Or some people they reach jazz later, but jazz is like the indigenous American music, and people they try to make it seem like it's a lesser than music, but it's really like the basis for all music. You know, we made this thing. So,
Exactly.
so you went to Oberlin. You studied jazz voice at Oberlin.
I sure did. Yes.
So, what would you say is the importance of having a jazz education?
Um, I think it's interesting just how we phrase that question, because a jazz education be something it could be something very different for many people. Someone who I'm very inspired by and I love his music a lot. His name was Kenny Garrett. I'm not sure if he actually went to university for music, but he did say that he studied in the school of Duke Ellington and the school of Freddie Hubbard and Miles Davis. So, when you're around folks who are raised in the music and live this music, as opposed to just simply having a degree in it, I think that's just as valid in an education as anything else. I think the piece of paper is great, but it's like what you do with that gift and what you do with that music that actually counts and what actually matters. How does that affect people? How does that affect um, your community, your space?
Well, you're all about the people and the effect that music has on people, but you're so right because it's not anyone can play some scales over some chords, but it's like that feeling that you put into it. What do you bring to this music? That's so important.
Mhm.
You're all about the connection and the feeling with the music. Wow. So you've been a lot of places. You've been all over the world. I've been seeing you on Instagram. What would you say has been your favorite jazz venue to perform at?
Mm, that's really interesting. Hmm. I mean, in terms of spaces, yeah, in terms of spaces, I would probably say, hmm, I played a few outdoor festivals, and I really like outdoor festivals, just mostly for the fact that if you're outdoors, I'm not trying to wear a suit. You're not trying to wear a suit. We all just out here. We're out here just amongst the people. And I know I speak a lot about the people a lot, but that's kind of one of my favorite parts about music and the arts at large is that, you know, that's just a form of communication to get our story across. Um, and I think what better than just being outside and some flip flops, listening to some great music. One of my favorite clips that I ever seen was the Roy Hargrove Big Band playing in Central Park, and they were playing "September in the Rain."
Mhm.
Um, and I just saw not only just how happy and how joyous the music was on stage, but I saw how there was a whole flood of people out watching jazz music. It's something that we like to say is dead or is unpopular. Blah blah blah. Good music is good music, and I think spaces like that, like a Central Park, allow for people to engage with it freely. There's not this barrier of um, you know, like the respectability politics about like wearing a suit or even just like paying a cover. That's a huge barrier for a lot of people. I'm thankful for those who can do it, but I think access is very important. Yeah, sorry, I went on to a lot of things, but outside, I like being outside.
It's great though because I never thought about how an outside space. It's more inviting. It invites people to engage more in the music. And when you sometimes you think about a concert hall or a jazz club, people are all dressed up. They're not sure if they should clap now or clap then. Can we make noise? But outside, you kind of let all of those ambitions go, and really you can enjoy the music. You can be a part of the music. That's amazing.
Right.
So you've partnered with a lot of different jazz musicians, been a part of a lot of different groups. So what would you say? How do you feel about collaboration with different artists?
I think, especially for young musicians, that's probably one of the most important things that you can do in this music. Um, it's a very ancestral music and it's an oral history. And that's pretty much the only way to get a lot of valid information. You could get, I mean, we're blessed with technology. We live in the modern era. We got an iPod with thousands of songs, but how many people could say that they had, like a phone call or just had coffee with Sonny Rollins? I don't know many people that can say that. Or, just there's things amongst collaborating that makes it worthwhile. We learn more about the person behind the music. Um, and I think just through collaboration, it opens your mind to so many different things and so many different experiences. That's something that I do give Oberlin a lot of credit for. Had I not gone there, I doubt, or I don't say that I doubt, but I think I would have a very different outlook on my place in the music and the just my just my overall opinion of the music and how I should interact with it.
Yeah. Yeah, school has a lot to do with that in a way because in undergrad, I think about we had combos and they would just throw. It wasn't really based on skill level. They would just throw, a piano player, a rhythm section together, and put a vocalist in there. So
Mhm.
you're all kind of tasked with, okay, now make something. So you're checking out the music of your classmates. You may be showing another musician something. So having the opportunity to teach and, like you said, it's oral history and being able to share knowledge is so important. So I think you sound like Joe Williams.
I love Joe. That's one of my biggest influences.
So, speaking of influences, who are some other influences that you have?
Sure. I mean, there's just so many people. I'm always inspired by folks. I'm inspired by my friends. But when it comes to vocalists, um, I would say definitely Joe Williams is a huge inspiration. So is Johnny Hartman, the great Andy Bay, who I had the pleasure of meeting once. Betty Carter.
Mhm.
I love Betty Carter. Sarah Vaughan. Mm, ooh, this one's a really good one. What? Let me not blank on her name though. Dakota Stanton is really killing.
Oh,
I like her a lot.
a lot of
Oh,
people.
uh, look, goodness, I'm gonna hit a quick Google. I'm gonna hit a quick Google because she needs to be spoken about.
That's a good list so far. You're doing great. Dakota Staton, I feel like that's a person a lot of people don't mention in influences or even talk about.
Yeah. Oh, Gloria Lynn. That's right.
Okay.
Gloria Lynn is so bad. So was Bill Henderson. Oh, sorry. You just got me. You got me so excited. You got me so excited because now I'm gonna listen to all these folks again. But yeah, I think a whole bunch of people inspire me just through music. Wayne Shorter is another influence of mine. He don't even sing. It's like if you move people, you're gonna do something to them. Yeah. So those are a few of my many influences.
Those are great influences. So, a big part of jazz singing is like the storytelling. How well can you tell the story? So, what would you say is your approach to like a jazz standard?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love that singer to singer stuff. Um, I would say when it comes to just learning tunes for me, I would say initially I need to listen to the song and see if I like it. If I'm not interested in it, then I could like try to shove it down my throat and try to get it inside me or whatever. But I'd rather just go with what comes easier. It makes the process a lot more enjoyable. Step one. Step two, um, I listen to various recordings and try to listen to their stories. Step three, I just read the lyric and try to take it at a very face value direction. Now that I listen to everyone else's version of it, I could try to see, okay, so this is how she phrased this part. this is why did she emphasize this part of it? Why did he punctuate this part that way? So finding all the like the backstory within the lines, like the story between the lines. Um and then from there, it's all the theoretical work, learning all the harmony and the melody, um, getting all that into your system and into your ears. And then from there, it's just about forgetting all that stuff that you prep for and just being present and in the moment. You obviously don't forget, it becomes a part of you. But, like your focus is to tell your story, which, like I said before, the art is the art of communicating, you know. So that's my process.
I love it. Taking a little bit from everyone else and then just kind of letting that all go and just having that feeling there. I also like what you said about emphasis because I feel like there's a lot of different recordings of standards where I listen to one person sing it and it might make me feel like, oh, this is a happy song, this is joyous. And then
Mhm.
you listen to another one, they may emphasize a certain part of the lyric and you're like, oh, this one brings me a different emotion just based on what word they emphasize or maybe the arrangement, all of those things.
Mhm. I agree.
So, yeah, thank you. So, music can be challenging sometimes, a lot of ups and downs. So, what would you say are some challenges you faced in music?
Mm, mm. I would say finding support for different without getting too specific. Just finding the support you need for specific let's say situations that we might find ourselves in, whether they be like on the business end, on a technical musical end, an educational end, or whatever it may be. I think that continues to be a struggle for not only myself but most people
Yeah.
on the planet. So yeah, I think that's just something that it's important to acknowledge, and it's okay to need help and to accept help when you need it.
That is a great one because I think it's like you go to music school and then I graduate and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Like, how do I,
Exactly.
like, and then we live in this modern world. We're not learning in music school sometimes, like, how do we record our vocals? How do we release an album? How does the money work? How do we get money? How do we, like, what are songwriting credits? Like, all of these things are important to being an artist. You don't get them in music school. We're just kind of back at square one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very great. What is some advice you have for someone who is aspiring to do exactly what you do?
Don't. No, I'm kidding. No, but if you hope to, I guess that depends on, like, what I'm doing, so, um, I'm trying
A
to
professional musician.
okay, okay. So, advice to anyone aspiring to be a professional musician. Firstly, I would seek mentorship and education. So that could come in several forms. A mentor doesn't necessarily have to be a musician. It could be
Mm,
someone that was working in PR. It could be someone who used to play, but now they're a podiatrist, but they're still very knowledgeable. I think finding a mentor that's also fun. Find someone that's in it doing what you want to do, like the closest thing that you would like to do. So I have a lot of great friends and mentors that I'm glad to say. Like I have the great Eric Wyatt in my life, Rodney Whitaker, Raquel Whitaker, Theo Croker. I just have so many folks that are looking over me and appreciating me. Um, Definitely have those folks in your life. Number two, know how to communicate to people. Um, that's a skill that goes beyond music. Learning how to speak appropriately to anyone is just a great human skill to have. Number three, I would say definitely just educate yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be about music or business. Um, there's been conversations that I had with some folks, and I just talk about a book that I'm reading, and then I connect with that person a lot further than if I try to just spout a whole bunch of jazz stuff onto them. And then eventually we made some other opportunities work, we that led to me doing my music as part of what they do. So I think that's a golden tidbit that I got from Rodney Whitaker. Um and I'll just leave one more. I would say, follow your heart and follow your gut. If it feels wrong or it doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it. No matter what people say, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Um, Make sure that you make ends meet, but beyond that, just make sure that you.
Those are good. So we need mentors, and we need two types of mentors. We don't just need mentors who do exactly what we do. A mentor can be anyone that has some knowledge that we might need. We need to learn how to communicate appropriately. You know, musicians, we just stay in the practice room and then we don't talk. Um,
Exactly.
following your heart, and then you had another one. What was your other one?
um. Oh, educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Oh, okay. That made me think of another point. So I was interviewing a pastor, a youth pastor earlier this week, and I was asking him like, "Who are your influences?" And he said, "My pastor is was his influence." And he said it was his influence because he says if you can just preach on Sunday, like you're not a true preacher. Like you should be able to talk to someone about their marriage, about their kids, about a
Mm,
book that you're reading, and through that you have a better opportunity to share your knowledge than you would actually doing the thing it is that you would like to do with that person.
right.
So
That
that made me so it made me think about that. So how has moving to New York been? How has this experience been on the jazz scene?
on the jazz scene, I'd say just in general, it's been a very beautiful experience. Um, I've been blessed to have a lot of opportunities when I first moved here. I was working with two great institutions, the Jazz House Kids, which is technically more New Jersey, but now they have a New York extension. And I worked with Jazz at Lincoln Center as an intern as well. Um, and since moving here, I think those two communities that I've built in those two cities have definitely helped shape just the opportunities that I've been allotted. And I think also just by being a part of the community itself, I go to smalls, I go to all the sessions, I check out people's concerts, I jam with folks. People hit me up on Instagram, I hit them up on Instagram. I say we should meet up, get coffee or whatever. Not just to, the end goal isn't just to get gigs because if you want to make money, music probably isn't the thing to or especially if you wanna be a jazz singer, like, that's just not the thing to do. I do this because I love it, and I love people that are interested in this music because I also find them to be some of the most fascinating people on the planet. So, yeah, I think just this community has been beautiful. I'm very blessed and very, grateful for all the people that I met here, and, I'm just excited to, uh, be a part of all the great things that are happening here.
You are the great things happening in New York, Tyreek. So tell me, what's next? What's coming up?
Sure. I have a lot of new projects coming out. Not necessarily recording projects. That is a longer term goal that will hopefully be happening this year. Within the next 2 years, I
Ooh,
want to record my first.
exciting.
Um, I'm already recording with a lot of folks, and I can't necessarily talk about it right here, but I will be recording some projects for friends. Um, I'm also the host of 2 venues now. I host the late night jam session at Dizzy's, Jazz Club inside of Jazz at Lincoln Center. That's on Thursdays, and, it starts at, midnight, so if you're in New York, come by, come do the thing, we'll do the things. And I also host my own jam session. I started it from the ground up, with support of, Keyed Up and Jazz Generation and the National Jazz Foundation, um, called Penny Joe's. It's a great fun time, little bar. I'm actually about to go there in a few minutes, but it's I know I'm very happy to have started those 2 jam sessions to help build and curate this community. And yeah, I have some gigs coming up. I'll be playing the Jazz Gallery tomorrow with the Jazz House All Stars. Um, what else is happening? Dizzy's, yeah. I'm playing at Minton's Playhouse. Minton's is back, by the way. A lot of folks heard that it closed. Well, it's back. And a lot of our heroes like Sarah Vaughan, Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis, they all played there. That's where bebop was born. So I'm blessed to have the opportunity to play there. I'm playing there a few times this month. And next week, I will be setting sail on my first ever jazz cruise. So
Oh,
I'll be performing alongside the Jazz House All Stars with a star-studded cast of folks like who we got on there, like Jasmine Horn, Jeff Hamilton, Rodney Whitaker. You know, the list is endless, and it just gets heavier the more that I keep talking. So
wow.
a lot of good things are on the way.
Wow, that is super exciting. Lots of great things, like you said. And you know what I love about all those things you listed? You listed all these great performances, but you also talked about like these communities that you're cultivating. So it's not just about performance, it's also about you bringing these people together to share the music that you love, like you talked about.
I appre-
Wow. I didn't know this would be this is I just love that you're all about the community and the meaning behind the music and the feeling behind the music because I think that's so important. And I think music sometimes can be something that we say, "Oh, I practice, I perform, I do this," and kind of forget like, no, it's meant to be shared. It's meant to bring people together. So that's why I'm just kind of stuck on how you're talking about the community and the people because I really love that.
I appreciate that. And you know, before we go, I think it's really important for anyone that's a musician or anyone that's an artist that's listening to this. Like we often just use language casually without actually thinking about what we're saying. So like, okay, what do you do? I play the guitar or I play jazz music. What is the verb in that? Play. You
Yeah.
know, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be enjoyable. How often in our adult lives do we get to play anymore? You know what I mean? So when we do have moments like this to just be in a space, be with other humans, not have to have a screen in front of us or whatever, you know, there's something to performing at the highest level and like setting boundaries, but not all of us are necessarily meant to be virtuosos. This is definitely a music in which virtuosos. It's almost required to be a virtuoso to play at a certain level, but for in general, this is all to communicate something that's bigger than all of us, which at the end of the day is really us.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember what this is all about. And that might be different for you, but I think you should, I don't know. I don't really know anything actually, but I think you should take it or leave it. That's my opinion on it.
I think we all should take that. Okay, take that. Okay, so I have a few just fun popcorn questions, like rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
If you could have a duet with a historical jazz vocalist, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh gosh. Rapid fire is not it. Ooh, if I were to sing with anybody, I want to sing with Betty Carter.
Very cool.
That would be incredible. She would
Yeah.
wax me.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
that would be awesome. Okay, if your life was a jazz standard, what would it be?
Oh gosh.
These are kind of hard.
Yeah, this is kind of hard, and it's getting a little deep. Um. Uh. Hmm. What's a good one? It's not necessarily a standard, but it is a standard. I believe that. I believe that when things seem too difficult or appear too difficult, it's okay to just give it up to God. You know.
Amen.
So I'm gonna just say the Creator has a master plan. That's my standard.
Oh Lord, thank you, Jesus. I love that.
Lou.
Okay, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Karaoke. I don't get to do karaoke no more. I guess my job's karaoke.
That
um,
makes
I think it would be probably the "What's Going On" or anything James Brown. Actually, yeah,
Oh,
if it's a James Brown song, I'm on it. I
wow, and your James Brown bag. I love
love
it.
James Brown. That's a cat.
Okay, lastly, before we go, tell me or tell the audience, where can people keep up with you? Where can they see your performances? Where's the website? Where can we keep up with you?
Sure thing. So you guys have a lot of options. I've been working on this for a while. So I have Instagram firstly. It's just my name, Tyreek.McDole. If you don't know how to spell it, it's right there. Right there. What's the other thing? I have my website, which is also my name, TyreekMcDole.com. You can find me on Facebook, uh, X, which used to be Twitter, and soon I will be making a mailing list, and I hope you guys will, subscribe and keep up.
Yes, Tyreek put us all on the list so we can keep up with all these great things you're doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll see you soon.
Catch you soon.